Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Target Focus Life. Oh! My name's Steve. I'm here with my good buddy Joel from Surviving Duck Season, the YouTube channel, and we're taking a look at
the Browning Silver 3.5-inch 12 gauge.
So if you want a detailed and in-depth review, you've come to the right place. Let's go! We're gonna jump into this review on the Browning Silver in just a minute here, but I wanted to quickly introduce you to Joel Strickland. Has the YouTube channel Surviving Duck Season, which you can guess is about ducks and duck hunting, but tell us a little bit more about the channel, Joel.
Yeah, we do a lot of tips. I teach a lot of things about duck calling, decoys, tons of deep dives and all kinds of different things related to duck hunting. Plus we do some duck hunting content from our channel.
Yeah, some really great stuff there. If you haven't checked it already, I would highly recommend it. And since I'm down here hunting ducks with Joel today, I thought this would be a great opportunity to review a waterfowl shotgun. Since this guy's got more than a few days in the blind, about how many days a year do you figure you spend in the blind?
Between 75 and 100.
That's just a few more than me, I'll be honest. This isn't your first appearance. In fact, last fall we did a shotgun showdown together. But anyways, check out his channel. Let's jump into the review on the Browning Silver. Have you ever shot a Browning Silver?
Never have.
Well, check this bad boy out. Right off the bat, the intended use of this shotgun is waterfowl. Now, Browning's website does say that you could use it for shooting clays as well. And to that, I would say, sure you can. If you're gonna do a lot of clay shooting, a 3.5-inch gun is never my preferred pick. In fact, Joel and I are kind of on the same page when it comes to 3.5-inch. I would rather have a better, shorter shell than a bigger, not great shell.
Right.
Like you actually shoot a lot of 2 3/4, don't you?
I do, I sure do.
Through a 20 gauge.
Right.
But it's not steel.
Nope.
MSRP of this shotgun, any guesses?
1,200 bucks.
Somewhere right around there, $13.99. $99 is MSRP, but I picked this one up from Reed's, of course, my favorite sporting goods retailer, for less than that. We're gonna go over a lot of different things, so if there's anything specific you wanna see, you can just jump right to it. Joel, hit us with some quick specs right off the bat.
All right, so like we said, this is a 12 gauge, 3.5-inch. It's got a 28-inch barrel.
And also available in a 26. Of course, my preference is generally a 28. How about you?
28 as well.
14.25-inch length of pull. That's the distance from the trigger to the butt end of the stock. It's got an 1.75 inch drop at comb. That's coming off this horizontal line here. 1.75 inch drop, 2 inches here. So we only have a 1/4 inch drop on this whole stock. So it is relatively flat.
It comes with 3 chokes, Vector Plus system, full modified and improved cylinder.
And of course, that is none of these because I've already switched out for my Carlson's choke tube. But let's go ahead and take a look at the trigger. One thing I like to do, Joel, is before I put the trigger gauge on there and see what the pull weight is, I like to see how it feels. This gun is clear, nothing in it. I want to hear what you have to think. Any thoughts right off the bat?
Little heavy maybe on the pull.
Did feel a little heavier than some, but it was crisp. There was very little pre-travel. You pull that trigger, it was nice, crisp trigger pull. But let's get the gauge on here, see what it pulls out at. I always like to do 3 pulls, 5 pounds, 5.9 ounces. So first one, that's lighter than I thought it would be, honestly. 5 pounds, 8.3 ounces. Let's give her one more. 4 pounds.
Really?
15.4 ounces. Now, of course, this gun has less than 10 rounds through it. So things can loosen up over time. 5 pounds, 4.5 ounces. Is that lighter than you thought it was, than it felt?
It is, it really is.
Next, we're gonna take a look at the ergonomics of this shotgun. That is the feel, the function, and some of the looks of it as well. Right off the bat, Joel, just pull that gun up. Tell me what you're feeling.
It feels a little bulky to me, but it fits real nice.
Now tell me the primary gun that you use in field again.
I've been shooting an SX4 12 gauge and an SX4 20 gauge for the last 2 duck seasons.
Right, so keep that in mind. I also have shot a lot of the SX4. I know you're very used to it. So when you grab a gun like this, I thought the same thing right off the bat. That's a little heftier. It's a little bulkier on the grip and on the forend. Right. How about balance? What do you think there? I
like the balance. It fits me. I mean, when I shoulder the gun, it feels real good. I mean, it comes right up and real nice.
I agree for the most part. When I'm holding my hands, I can tell it's a little heavier. Forgot to mention it's 7 pounds, 9 ounces. A heavier gun that's balanced well isn't always a bad thing. If you're sitting in the blind, the hope is a heavier gun's gonna have less
recoil,
felt recoil, right? Now that's not always the case, and we're definitely gonna put that to the test. But yeah, balance-wise, I really like it. In fact, let's just, yeah, feels pretty good in the hands. As far as texture, grip, what do you think of all that?
I mean, nothing super special.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a fairly plain.
Basic.
Yeah, basic.
I think the same exact thing. I grab it. The texture's okay. Nothing that I'm gonna rant and rave or write home to the wife about, you know.
Right.
So let's take a look at the controls. The safety is like triangular. That's kind of cool. In fact, when I'm not looking at it, I always like to, you know, how easy can I slap a safety on and off, not looking at it? I really like the safety of this actually. But when you get to the bolt handle, the bolt release, it's a little less exciting, I would say. My opinion, I'd love to hear your thoughts. This bolt handle is okay. It's fine, adequate. But the bolt release is this little stiff button that if you had gloves on and you don't have feel of your fingers super well, could be a challenge to close. What are your thoughts?
I was thinking exactly the same thing about this, about the button. I mean, it's very small. You got to be right on it to get it to go. And a lot of people say, well, why is that a big deal? But, you know, especially when you're loading and you're paying attention, a bird's coming in, I got to get loaded fast. I've burned through my shells and I got to get a cripple or whatever. You know, you want to be able to get it in there and slam it. You don't want to be looking because you're taking your eyes off the bird or whatever else you're doing.
Yeah. I think it's a good looking gun. I especially like these hybrid looks when you have the Cerakoted receiver and barrel and then camo here on the stock and forend.
Yeah, I agree. My SX4 is like this, and so I like that kind of look.
The trigger guard is, I would say, adequate. It's not massive, it's not tiny. I'd say it's kind of right in the middle as far as size of being able to get your fingers in there. Now, you guys down in Arkansas maybe don't wear the big bulky gloves like some of us do up in Minnesota, but so I always look for a trigger guard I know I can get my fingers into easily.
Yeah, it's definitely not oversized, but it's perfectly adequate.
You're gonna see that a lot of components of this gun are basically the same exact as on the SX4. And Joel and I both sort of have the same complaint about the SX4. When you look at this loading port, these edges are rather sharp almost.
Oh yeah.
You know, some manufacturers are starting to mill out the guns now, these loading ports, making it easy to slam shells in there. And like you were saying, when you've been shooting all day and you're putting shells in there, it wears on you a little bit.
Yeah, well, and I don't want to be looking down at loading when I'm worried about a cripple bird that I need to get loaded for quickly. And that happens, at least for me, quite a bit. I'm trying to get loaded in quick, and I don't want to have to be fumbling with shells trying to get them in there.
A lot of the Winchester guns have what I believe is a pretty nice recoil pad. I believe they call it the Inflex recoil pad. This just looks like kind of a rubber plain pad with some kind of cross checkering that
doesn't do much.
It just has a brass bead up front. A lot of waterfowl shotguns now are coming with fiber sights on them.
Right.
I'm just gonna ask you your thoughts on those fiber sights.
Well, like I said, I've had both my two SX4s for the last 2 duck seasons. Both of them lost their fiber sight within about 4 hunts.
Well, how do you shoot ducks without a sight? How do you do it, Joel?
You don't need it.
You just mount the gun how you should mount it and look at the ducks, right?
Exactly.
And so you all know that I'm not a huge fan of the fiber sights anyway, so that's not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the fiber sights, especially the really big ones, are kind of gimmicky. I don't mind a real small one, so nothing to complain about there. But overall, I think it's a fine feeling gun. Now, when it comes to variations of this shotgun, there's actually quite a few. Even though it's only available in a 3.5 inch, there's a lot of different camo variations. They have like those hybrid looks, kind of like your Winchester SX4, where it's Cerakote and camo. They have a lot of different options. In fact, they have 14 variations of this shotgun overall, which is quite a few. As far as quality of build on this shotgun, you've shot the Browning A5. In fact, you shot that at my place, right?
Yeah.
Have you shot the Maxus too?
Just a time or two. I haven't really used it. I did use the A5 for like 2 weeks during the duck season a few years ago. Yeah.
So this comes in at a much lower price point than the A5. Well, $300-400 lower price point than the A5 and the Maxus 2. So this is definitely the cheapest option of Browning semi-auto shotguns. And I would say it is quite a bit more basic than those guns. For $1,300, is this a good gun?
I mean, I think it's a good gun. It feels very solid. I mean, it's balanced. you know, it's got a lot of things going for it. Again, like you said, this is kind of the, I mean, is it the entry level, so to speak, on the autoloader guns, you know, in the line?
On the Browning line,
Yeah,
yes, for sure.
And
you know, and what I think people have to consider, and this isn't a comparison video, but you got the Winchester SX4, which has a lot of similarities. Basically, the difference is furniture a little bit. The receiver's cut a little bit different, as you can see, but otherwise, a lot of similarities between the barrel, the chamber, the bolts, you know, just so many things on this shotgun. And it's several $100s more than that gun. But I know some people watching, they're Browning guys, they're Browning gals. You know, they want the Browning autoloader, not the Winchester. And to that, I would say, compared to the A5, compared to the Maxxis 2, you're saving several $100s. You're getting a solid gun, to my understanding, but we haven't done recoil and reliability. And so I think we just skip quality because we know it's a solid gun. But we got to get to shooting this thing and really put the gunpowder to the road. The sky.
Something like that.
I got to work on that one. Okay, 3 basic shots. Let's pick up the pace. Okay, I got some thoughts. Go ahead and load up, Joel. Want to hear what you have to say. Here was the extent of our duck hunting today. What'd you think?
A little bit more recoil than I like to feel.
Yeah? Where did you feel it? Did you just back in the shoulder, or did you actually go into the face?
I felt it on the face a little bit.
Interesting.
A little bit of punch, but I was feeling it here.
Okay, because the way I felt the recoil in this gun is I felt like it came pretty straight back. I wasn't feeling anything jumping into my face. It's a little bit more recoil than I maybe anticipated with it being the weight that it is, but we're shooting light target loads. Not a lot of recoil.
Right.
We should probably put
some steel in there.
A couple. We got the Federal Speed Shock right here, 1 1/4 ounce, 2-shot. Definitely sounded heavier.
Oh, it was definitely heavier, no question. Actually, I didn't feel it on the face that time.
Weird. I've had that happen so many times. When I switch between game loads and target loads, the recoil can feel quite a bit different in how you take it. Woo! I was surprised at how much recoil that had.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, I had a lot more punch.
I've shot lighter recoiling 12 gauge shotguns. I will just say that. Just pop some rounds off, maybe from the hip here. Oh yeah, no problem there. One of the things I don't like about 3.5-inch guns is they don't shoot the target loads as reliably, generally speaking. I'm gonna go over the head here. Let's see if it cycles. A lot of guns will not cycle target loads, 3.5-inch, upside down over the head, Joel. Oh yeah. Man, right out of the box, I'm impressed with how this cycles. It cycles really well, it shoots well. It's basically the same gas system as you're gonna see in a Maxxis 2 or in the Winchester SX4. Browning might say otherwise. You know, they have engineers that say, well, it's different, but from my observation, it's a lot the same. I'm gonna break this gun down. I'll show you how easy it breaks down. You can see how similar it is to both the Maxxis 2 and the Winchester SX4. Fore-end cap off, fore-end off, barrel off, piston off, whatever this is called off. The spring off, do you know what this is called?
Some kind of collar or something, isn't it?
I don't know, you can call it what you want. That's kind of, I usually just make stuff up. Punch out the pins, bada bing. There we go. Trigger group out. There is the Browning Silver.
All I gotta say, Steve, is it looks a lot like an SX4.
You noticed too, did you? My goodness. All right, folks, it's time to go fast. Joel's up first. I'm gonna throw the clays for him on the clock. Let's see what this gun's made of. Yes.
Yeah! 192.
192. What do you think of that?
Well,
you want to shoot for something a little faster? You feel pretty comfortable with that?
I'm okay with that.
I mean, most duck hunters aren't shooting 3 ducks in probably, well,
less than 2 seconds.
Less than 2 seconds, including the throw.
Right. Now you get to do it, including the throw.
Yes, I get to all in.
There you go.
1, 2, 1. Thoughts, Joel, after shooting this gun, speed shooting?
It is a quick shooting gun.
Gas system. Yeah, I mean, Winchester, just like this, is known to be a fast shooting gun, quick cycling.
Yep.
I noticed you had some trouble on the mount.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer than the gun I'm used to shooting, and so if I wasn't careful, I'd be getting it in my armpit.
Before you buy this, I'd recommend anyone go to the store and just check it out, mount it up, make sure it's gonna be a good fit for them.
Right.
So there's a look at the Browning Silver 12 gauge, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Again, make sure you check out Joel's channel, which is called
Surviving Duck Season.
And until next time, remember, whether you're in the field or in life, you're only gonna hit those shots that you're laser focused on. So live target focused. See ya.
See ya.